We're going to move on to our next talk from Runyon on Lunar Avatar, the other Artemis astronaut.
Yes, thank you. Comcheck, can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Great. Well, thank you so much. The idea behind Lunar Avatar, as the name in the movie suggests, is to intuitively map a geologist's mind onto a robotic field geologist or field technician. And I want to acknowledge my awesome team at Johns Hopkins APL. I'm not even the PI of this. I'm the lead for the geology component of this. But I'm thankful to our team that's able to lend their expertise to this. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, slide 2. Great. So, as we know, robotic field technicians or independent field geologists, as they've been talked about, can do things that are dull or time-consuming or dangerous. I've used a retrospective example here from Apollo 15. This shows Dave Scott at the rim of Hadley Rill geologizing this rock, and we've got a field technician, a robotic field technician, a quadruped. This is actually a Spot robot from Boston Dynamics. Maybe you've seen their robot on YouTube. In the idea of a field technician, you could imagine the robot doing things that are dull and time-consuming. While the astronauts are doing the geologic heavy lifting, mentally at least, the robot can do things like take an XRF, an X-ray fluorescence integration, maybe an APXS, maybe use a multispectral microimager to look at the grain size, the mineralogy, maybe the vesicularity of rocks in the area, or maybe do a 360 panorama at each station, as was done on Apollo. Basically take away the dull and time-consuming tasks so that the astronauts can really focus on the core of the geology. So that's sort of a field technician mode. There's also, robots can also do things that are dangerous. If we go back to our retrospective example here, Dave Scott at one point suggested to the lunar module pilot Jim Irwin that they actually drive the rover down into the Hadley Rill. And Jim perhaps wisely said, "You go ahead, Dave, I'll wait right here." And in fact, Mission Control did not let them go down. But Hadley Rill has some wonderful in situ outcrop exposures of bedrock, very rare to find that on the moon. And so you could imagine that Avatar could have been, the Lunar Avatar robot here could have been tasked to walk down into the rill and do observations and maybe sampling of that in situ bedrock. This independent geologist mode, separate from the field technician mode, if you're familiar with Desert Rat's parlance, this might be similar to divide and conquer, or maybe a distant lead and follow con-op. Next slide, please. At Johns Hopkins APL, we've got a fairly robust history of advanced robotics. Most of our robotics to date has been focused in the defense applications and also in biomedical applications. But we're now starting to look at geologic and specifically planetary geologic applications for our robots. Next slide, please. Famous within APL is Robo Sally, shown here. She is shovel ready to do field geology. Next slide, please. Oh, one thing about her is, and you'll notice in this picture as well, is that she's got what's called the modular prosthetic limb. And it's basically a human, it's an anthropomorphic hand that has a one-to-one mapping of all the joints and digits to a human hand. Shown here is Dave Handelman, where he is remotely controlling Robo Sally's hand while image sensors are visually mapping his movements and converting them into commands for the robot to now grab the basketball, seen in this case. Next slide, please. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, this is cool, but we've been talking about robotic field helpers forever. So what's new with this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Next slide, please. Our secret sauce, without giving away too much of the ingredients, is simulated zero latency teleoperation. In more technically correct nerd speak, this would be an immersive, operator-experienced, model-mediated zero latency control. Basically, this is a merging of virtual reality and telepresence to give an augmented reality, not just perception, but also control of the robot in the field from someone located on Earth. Next slide, please. Now, while it's not quite analogous to zero latency, because we do have quite a bit of experience in the engineering world at APL with augmented reality in real world situations. You can see here in the clean room at APL, a portion of the Europa Clipper propulsion module that's being prepped for flight to Jupiter. You're seeing actual hardware, but superimposed on top of that is the wiring harness. If you want to see a video of this, you can please take a screenshot and go to that YouTube video there. But as the engineer moves around relative to the propulsion module, the wiring harness gets remapped in real time to its correct relative position on the propulsion module. So this instance doesn't require the use of latency, but there is this augmented reality as engineers and technicians go about their work. We're also doing the same thing with the Dragonfly rotorcraft that's going to Saturn's moon Titan. It's being engineered in this sort of augmented or virtual reality paradigm. Next slide, please. So basically, we are solving latency issues with the finite light travel time without breaking the laws of physics. Next slide. Now, in terms of science backroom support, we have envisioned two N-member CONOPs. And there's probably hybrid approaches between these two N members, but these are the ones we're focusing on. The one CONOP is Other Astronaut. This is where the avatar is functioning as another member of the Artemis astronaut team. This could either be in a field technician mode or as a full-fledged field geologist mode. In this backroom scenario, the avatar operator is firewalled from the rest of the science backroom. Probably. We're still working this out, but this is one idea we're thinking of. The other N-member CONOP is the independent or 24/7 CONOP, and I've heard others talk about this 24/7 CONOP before. And this is where the avatar operator is indeed embedded with the science backroom and is functioning independently from the Artemis astronaut crew on the surface. The 24/7 is related to the idea that the robot can be doing geology on the surface, even when the crew is asleep or doing something else. Next slide, please. Next slide. So in the Other Astronaut CONOP, the avatar works directly with the surface crew. So here we have avatar operator Dave Handelman in the science in mission control on Earth. Next slide. And similar to what's been discussed in terms of the subject matter experts having direct contact with the astronauts, we envisioned that the avatar operator would be in direct communication with the astronaut crew. So in this retrospective example, Dave Handelman is talking directly to Dave Scott and Jim Irwin during the mission. And the reason we feel this makes sense is because cognitively, at least, his mind at some level is actually on the moon, and in some level he's in the field with the astronauts. And just like the astronauts can talk to each other and the Capcom. Next slide, please. So Dave would talk to the Capcom as well. In this case, it's Luca sitting in the Mission Control Center at the Capcom console. This is, so both the avatar operator and the Capcom or SciCom would be the only people in direct contact with the astronauts via voice. Next slide, please. So that's the Other Astronaut CONOP. The 24/7 independent geologist CONOP is where Dave, the avatar operator, would be embedded directly in the science backroom. This is an actual photograph of a real science backroom in the Mission Control Center outside the FICR, and is actively controlling the robot on the surface independently of what the astronauts are doing. Next slide, please. Shown another way, and I've used this figure from Bell et al. This is from, if you're familiar with the Desert Rats special issue of Acta Astronautica from 2013, I modified a figure from there. In this case, the avatar operator shown in the magenta text there is with the science backroom for the 24/7 CONOP. Next slide, please. Although if we are doing the Other Astronaut CONOP, they may be firewalled from the science backroom to ease the communication, but they would be in contact, as shown by the dotted red line, with the crew on the surface, as though they are the other Artemis astronaut. Next slide, please. So our future work is to really kind of flesh out some of the CONOPs with the Other Astronaut modality to determine if they should or should not be firewalled from the science backroom to streamline communication better. As we continue along in this project, we are currently at APL modifying user interface software. We're building software tools. We recently acquired a Boston Dynamics four-legged Spot robot to use, and we'll be doing some simulated traverses with the model-mediated zero latency. We're going to have fake latency thrown in, and then we're going to have a model-mediated way to get rid of the latency. And we're also going to be doing similar sorts of operations with a robotic end effector, hopefully a robotic hand, doing zero latency geologic tasks in the lab at APL. And that's my talk, and I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much.